All right, today's Sunday, March 9th, and we're going to take a look primarily at the Euro USD. Um, you had a pretty wild week in terms of volatility. Uh, the market movement for the USD, this is just the most I've seen it in many, many years. I mean, you could just take a look at this big swing. It was just pretty, pretty strong volatility for this week. But the good news is that, I was able to get out of the trade for about 340 pips and change. I believe somewhere around there. But it was definitely above 340 pip um, mark. And then just looking for a potential short opportunity on the Euro USD. Now, the initial short didn't work out, which I'll go over in a second. But right now, what I'm looking for in terms of at least a pullback, I'll share that as well and the position that I have on right now. So just to recap a little bit on the previous trade, I've been mentioning the broadening pattern that we had uh, right over here. Let me just draw it out real quick. Right, we had this broadening pattern along with a hidden divergence, or I should say a natural occurring divergence on the MACD, which you can see right over here, right? We had price coming down, then we had that divergence going up, and then we had the pullback, and then finally hit target, which was actually 1.06. In hindsight, we look back and it's just like 1.06 looked like a really good target, which it was, but we we went up about, I don't know, this is maybe an extra 150, 200 pips the following day or the following 2 or 3 days. We had some big movement, but so that trade worked out really well. Where I was looking to initiate short positions or at least see the market weakness, I was looking at another trend line for me to initiate a short position, and I'll draw that out right now. So I always believe trend lines, they're subjective. Everybody uses them different. For me, I always connect highs and lows and vice versa, lows and highs, which will give me an idea of levels that I want to maybe take a position on going forward. And of course, coupled with other indicators I look for, like pivot points and, divergences, chart patterns, and stuff like that. So if I take this support and resistance trend line, I always use the magnet tool because I feel like it needs to be, as accurate as possible. I took this low here and I connected it to this high right here. Okay. And I was looking for maybe a short opportunity right around here. I actually went short. I had a limit order at 0740, which got triggered. We went up a little higher to hit around 1.08. I thought maybe there was a possibility of us stopping here. And the reason why I felt like we were going to potentially stop here is because if I take this Fibonacci retracement, now, just quickly, I use Fibonacci's in the traditional sense of, the 61.8, 50%, the 27%, and so on, right? 78.6, or some others use 76.8. Sometimes I use Tesla numbers. Now, I know that sounds kind of off, but Tesla numbers are 3, 6, and 9. So in this case, I was using from the top here to the bottom, the very bottom of the move. I have found over time that if I put specific numbers, Tesla numbers, using the numbers 3, 6, and 9, they give me ranges of support and resistance. Now you can see once we found some support here, it started finding resistance between the 30% and the 33.69% until it finally took off, and we had resistance again between the 60 and the 63.69%. So extreme, it's 90 and 93.69. But right now we're up here. So getting back to the reason why I thought we were going to potentially have resistance here, and a pullback was 1.08, was right at that 60% mark. And as well, if I display the yearly pivots, we also had a median level right in this area. So it was a little misleading as well, because you had that run up and then you had that pullback leaving a high wick. and then you had that red candle indicating, a potential move to the downside. But of course, the following day, we still found some strength and ended up on a green day or a gain for the bulls. So at this point, now I'm thinking, okay, that trend line is invalidated. What am I looking for going forward? I need to find another area that I want to potentially take a short position on. So I did go short. I do have a short position open right now, 1.0815, and I'm still holding that, even though we rose as high as 1.0880, close to 1.09. So that was really close. But I'm still holding on to this position because, number one, we're still in this range of the 60 and the 63.69%, finding some resistance here, coupled with a hidden divergence both on the MACD and the RSI, right? And then the one more qualifier for me was finding, again, a resistance point to a support point to try to figure out where I want to get short or hold short as accurate as I can, right? So again, here, this is the top point here, and I'm going to connect it to this support area here. And then we found really strong resistance right at that point right there, which was would have been great if I would have found the short position right over here, but it's fine. I like the position that I'm in right now. Obviously, if we start trading much higher over 1.09, that's where I'm going to make to look, to be more on the cautious side, either lower my position or get out completely and just wait to see what the market's going to do. Right now, the market just opened at 5:22 Eastern time here in New York. So market is actually open right now. It's trading, pulling back, but it's just way too early to tell what the market's going to do tomorrow or for the remaining of the week. So holding short in this area. Now, where am I looking to take profit if I want to go ahead and look for a target? Well, if we start trading lower from here, I'm going to look at this pivot area right over here. This is where I wanted to get out, or where I did get out before 1.0622. And I feel that if we do pull back, there's a good chance we might come down to this area again, possibly lower, but as a conservative target, this area would be really a good area. I don't know how many pips that is. That's probably about, we're looking at about 170 pips or so, almost close to 200 pips. So that would be a good trade. So that's where I'm looking at right now for the Euro USD. If I remove this is something I was talking about on the longer time frames that I wanted to take a look at. If I look on the weekly, we had this big consolidation area here for, I don't know, this lasted about maybe a year and a half, before it finally broke out to the downside. There was a bit of a triangle here. Now, if I draw this quickly, I believe it started back here. Okay. Let me clean up this trend line. Okay, right over here. At this level here. And then we also had a trend line just like this. Okay. So I remember drawing this out and watching this on a longer time frame. Once we broke out of here and we pulled back, I'm sure many traders try to find a supporting area here and take long positions to see if we're going to continue higher. But obviously broke right through this triangle and broke right back below this supporting area. Now I feel like we might be pushing up and finding some kind of resistance here based on the breakout. So it's a pullback and a retest. And, if we're looking forward to, weeks from now, maybe a couple of months from now, the Euro USD could be looking at new lows, or at least test this low here. So I'm keeping an eye on this long-term breakout to the downside and then a pullback for a retest of this breakout point or lower trend line, and then see if we're going to start pulling back and trading lower and lower. So that's my long-term view on the Euro USD. Right now on the daily chart, like I just mentioned, this still it's looking good. So far, if we start trading above 1.09, I'm going to be really cautious if I want to exit this position and see, if you get any type of weakness. But from here on out, just going to hold on to the short position and see if we can at least get back down to about 1.06. So that's the Euro USD. Pound dollar. Again, I have these Tesla numbers here. You can see finding resistance again at that 60%, between 60% and 63.69% area of resistance here. So nice breakout. Had the same exact play on the Euro USD in terms of the broadening pattern. Nice big breakout here. And it looks like we can possibly get some weakness here along with a hidden divergence. So not really looking at the pound dollar as much as the Euro USD, but keeping an eye on this one here. And to take a look at the dollar yen. And this one was interesting. Again, I didn't participate in the USD JPY or dollar yen trade, but I did pay attention to the fib levels that I had here. If I draw it all the way to the top, and you can see it found support again at that 60%. Previously, I had my regular numbers up here, all Fibonacci levels, and I was mentioning that if we pulled up to about 151.155, that we might find some resistance here and see the next level, which is down here about 147. So close to that. Don't see anything coming up for the dollar yen as of yet, but I am keeping an eye on this one here to see if we start trading, finding some support possibly around here, and go for a rally. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at across the FX pairs. For the most part, I only follow the top three pairs, in my opinion, which is the Euro USD, the pound dollar, and the dollar yen. So those three is the ones that I watch. And right now, again, my focal point is the Euro USD trade. Aside from that, I know my ETFs that I'm looking at. SOXL was a trade that I was mentioned previously that I was in, but luckily I was able to get out of that trade before we had that big rundown last week. I know the Nasdaq got hit pretty hard. Well, the market got hit hard across the board last week, but I exited that one before the big spillover, so that was good. I actually did initiate put options on TQQQ. Right now, they're sitting pretty good. We're finding some support close to that 70 area. Don't know if we're going to rally. Futures are up right now, but it's way too early to tell what the market's going to do in terms of pullbacks, or if we're going to get some continuous aggressive selling moving forward. So, but right now, put options for this look good. This whole trade was initiated based on the broadening pattern, also with a resistance and a falling momentum on the MACD and the RSI. And it's the same thing across the board for all of these ETFs that I have. I have up. QLD looked weak. UPRO, same thing. SPXL, same thing. This actually looks like a really good wedge. It might be due for a further decline, but I'm not involved in that one, but I am keeping an eye on this one. SSO, same thing. Looks like it's wedging up there. RSI showing the momentum to the downside, as well as the MACD. QQQE, same thing. Looks like a little wedge here, and for potential more declines. But we'll have to see. Either that or the Fed steps in and starts pumping this market up and finding some support. But so far, based on the technicals alone, I'm expecting a little bit more downside, and probably look to exit of my put options for a decent profit on this one. So that's it pretty much. We'll have to see what the market's going to do. Right now, positions are okay. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's basically what I want to see the Euro USD start declining from here and show some weakness to see if we're going to get some more selling pressure moving forward. And based on the longer term perspective I showed you on the EUR USD on the weekly, that this could be just a test out of that large triangle that was formed for about a year, almost 2 years, on the EUR USD consolidation. So with that said, I hope you enjoy this analysis. Always feel free to comment and share your ideas and what you're looking at. But that's it for this week's market preview, and I will see you guys in the next video. So good luck and trade safe.